One guy, I remember him getting caught. He said, look, I want to raise 25k. There's a guy with cancer in the hospital. Can everybody contribute? And one guy stood up and said, I'll give you all the money. I just want to see the patient, right? And he got caught out. But, they're so open-hearted. They would help you, mate, anywhere, anytime, whatever you need. Most people are like that, man.
You're not teaching us anything new. I know that myself. That's what I'm saying. But I'm not, mate. You're not going to take my word for it. I understand that. But I'm not a racist. At the end of the day, I don't think that everyone's just trying to be out for you. But it doesn't negate the fact that people are coming over on the boats, that it is, a lot of the time, people coming from Muslim majority countries. Like, these are just the obvious facts. It's like, I'm not trying to come at it with any prejudice, but it might look like that. That's fair enough.
Yeah, but I'm not disagreeing with you, mate. I'm not disagreeing with you, man. But the problem is, if you've got countries like Afghanistan that has been trashed, if you've got countries like Iraq, which has been trashed, Syria, trashed, right? Then, of course, mate, look, they want to have a better lifestyle for themselves, right? Or they may not be able to get any work there or earn any money there. There can be loads of problems in those. Sorry, just one sec. There can be loads of issues and problems in those countries. So maybe they need to think, okay, the war's finished now. Now, I've lost my house, I've lost my business or whatever it is. And you know what? I need to go somewhere where I can maybe do something, settle somewhere, earn something, and maybe an English-speaking country because it's easier, right, to communicate. Most people know English. I don't know, mate. It could be hundreds of reasons, man.
I completely agree with what you're saying, but we don't have to be the one to always take everyone in. I know other countries are taking people in as well. That doesn't miss us. But at the end of the day, we have our own homeless people, our own vets out in the street, and people struggling even with housing and everything to even get by. Now, why are we adding more to the pressure?
Ian, can I just ask you, where was you 10 years ago when these vets were out on the street then? When was you protesting then?
I was in school.
When they were out on the streets, what was you doing?
Probably in school, trying to dodge me GCSEs. What about you?
Sorry?
That shows.
We run a camp in Bath. We run a camp in Bath with veterans. So veterans can go and stay, and we sponsor, and we do quite a lot for the veterans, actually. And it doesn't matter, where they come from. If they're a vet of any country or anywhere, they can go in and they can, get respite. They can get help with PTSD.
Well, wouldn't it be nice if we could also give our homeless 5-star hotels an allowance each week and bikes to get jobs?
Yeah, where I live. I was saying the other day, so where I live, there's a hotel. It used to be a really nice hotel and gym, and now it's housing homeless people, but it's mostly white British people who have obviously got drug problems and whatnot.
So it's a rehab.
No, it's not a rehab. It's just how since COVID they've just been housed there, and people just come and go. People are not allowed to go there. They're not allowed visitors. But I drive past.
That's what a rehab is.
British people. It's not rehab.
Well, it's got to be if they're not allowed visitors.
It's not a rehab. It is a hotel like the migrant hotels, but it is housing British people. It's really not difficult.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
Can I just say something?
Go on, Cheeky. Monkey.
Thank you. I was attacked by two 16-year-old girls, white 16-year-old girls. I was left with life-changing injuries. I had to have 2 discs removed from my spine, a metal cage inserted, nasal fed. Like I said, I was 21 weeks in hospital on a major trauma ward. When I got out, the family of one of them found out where I lived, and they started egging my apartment. One day, I went out to put my rubbish, and the mother of one had her arm around my neck, telling me to drop the case. I was on 999 quick response, and my address was also on quick response. But I couldn't live like that until the court case. So I moved within a week. I have Muslim neighbours, and I'm telling you now, the minute I moved in, they saw I was unwell. They are there for me. I have never had such amazing neighbours as I have now.
And you'll find a majority, the vast majority of that follow, Islam and the Muslim religion, they are very helpful people. I mean, I've never come across, or I might come across a few, but, in my community and within my husband's community, that, you know, they're not rude, they're not, you know, they're very helpful towards people. And if you're, the thing is, if you're good to people and you don't give any reason for them to give hatred towards you, they're not going to do so, you know. And I think that, you know, when it comes to festivals and stuff like that, religious festivals, if you're not well, they'll bring food round to your door and stuff like that. You know, they invite you for a cup of tea or, you know, chai as they call it and stuff, you know, coffee or whatever. You know, they are sort of, you know, very giving people. So it's just the few minority that let it down for others. You know, it is a minority that let it down for others.
What I don't want to take away is the limelight on this particular brother of ours who sadly had his life taken away.
And I read this story last Saturday as it came out in the afternoon, and he had only just he hadn't been here long. He's just settling into his digs in Cambridge, and I think that he came to study the English language and literature, and it's just very sad what has happened. But the person that has done this, I believe that they were intoxicated, fueled with alcohol and drugs. And I think that he should have the book thrown at him. You know, whether he's got, addiction problems at all, I think that he should have the book thrown at him. And, you know, there is no reason whatsoever it should have happened.
We don't know what the motive is yet as to why. What we're doing, what I'm doing is particularly because he's a Muslim.
Wasn't he robbing him?
Was this racially motivated, or was this an Islamophobic attack?
I think it was a robbery, wasn't it?
Can I just finish? It only makes sense for it to be an Islamophobic attack because of everything what's taking place in the media right now, especially on social media, where Muslims are being labelled as this, that, and the other. It only makes sense, it's befitting that it was an Islamophobic attack, right? But again, like I said, I'm just speculating, and I just want to go on to speak to, who's this? DHMA, hello?
How are you all doing?
Can you drop me now? Thank you so much for letting me speak.
No problem, Cheeky.
Just a quick point I want to raise on this topic, because I've listened to all the people up on the panel. What I find is, just speaking from like an outside point of view, is a lot of the time people tend to use the scapegoat of Islam for the problems we have today, especially in like 2025 Britain. Like if you look at like knife crime, gang wars, turf wars, the problems with what's going on in Palestine at the moment, immigration, people tend to use Islam as a reason to justify what's happening in the world. And that's something that just doesn't sit right with me, if I'm honest, because I've got friends that are Muslim, and as the people on the panel have said, they're really, really nice people. Of course, you do get a few bad ones, but that's with every religion, Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism. You always get bad people and good people. So I think the issue at hand isn't a Islamic one. It comes down to just the decency people have within their hearts and their characters, if you ask me.
Absolutely. Well, what we're trying to do is educate brother Keir Starmer here and making him aware that there is a division here that is taking place. And unfortunately, Keir Starmer, is your name Keir Starmer actually? Am I just making that shit up? Keir, philosopher, explorer. I'm going to call you Keir then. Clearly, you've fallen into the narrative, Keir.
Our own opinions, mate, and based on what I've seen so far, as I say, mate, I've got a couple of pals, and it always sounds the same. I have got pals who are Muslim as well, but at the end of the day, when there's people coming over on the boats, and as I say, that's the key issue for, I think, most of the people in the country. And it's not just the boats. I think even people think just normal migration is too high. It feels like the culture's being diluted, but that's not what we're talking about right now. You're talking about this fella, so I'm trying to do a little bit of research to find out what we're talking about.
The thing is, there's always through human history someone to blame. Someone to blame is the narrative.
Has someone not always been at fault though?
Sorry?
When there's issues going on and there's someone to blame, is there not someone who's at fault? You know what I mean? That's obviously why there's issues.
Well, no, there is not in the way that the media portray it, right? And the thing is, as humans, quite often we don't want to look at ourselves as to reasons as to why certain things aren't going right in our lives. We want to just say, it's a lot easier to just say, oh, it's because of this problem, so I'm never going to succeed, and just blame that. But realistically, if we look at ourselves and what we could do, maybe there's things that we could do different that would make our lives a bit better or a bit easier, right?
But the plea hearing for this is the 8th of September, but he's expected to go not guilty, as I'm reading here. So,
for what reasons would he be going for not guilty?
I don't know. He could have, it could be a number of reasons. They haven't divulged that, but it just says that.
Let me guess. Mental health.
Yeah,
it probably is. It probably is. But that just gives a determined answer to me that if he's not stable enough to, and he's going to be harmful to others, he should be locked away. Whether it's in a mental asylum or whether it's in prison, he should be locked away because he's dangerous to other people.
Easy get out clause, that is, right?
But the thing is, bro, listen, if it's genuine,
if it's genuine,
bro, and it's mental, then okay, if that's the case, obviously not a made up case, we're against that anyway, no matter, even if it's done to a Muslim or someone else has done it or whatever it is, right? But if it's genuine, and then okay, that's separate, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, we don't know what the motive is.
It says here, his defence barrister, and forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, it's Shanwaz Khan, indicated that Corrigan indicates to deliver a not guilty plea. His plea hearing at Cambridge Crown Court is expected on the 8th of September. So, and a full trial is due to begin in February. On February.
I hope he gets the book thrown at him. To be fair, he needs to serve his time, regardless.
Of course, look, we can't keep giving people excuses, for having mental health and stuff like that, because people know what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And I'm sorry, but if you think that you could possibly hurt somebody, you go somewhere where you could give yourself in.
I think the point is, mental health or not, if you're an endangerment to society, you need to be removed from society to protect society.
That's right. And the thing is that, we have seen it where the system has let down people before, where, they keep going to the system for help and stuff like that, and they keep being let down. And some people do this for a cry for help, but this is the wrong kind of cry for help that is warranted, really.
Well, I'm just going to be honest with you. With foreigners coming over like this, who have got their plans, the paperwork, the correct document, do you think this country's safe anymore for people like that to come here?
No, I don't. No,
I don't think so.
A lot of countries,
anyone anymore, man.
A lot of countries now have deemed the UK not safe to come to.
But I don't think it's safe for anyone, whether you're white. I don't think it's safe.
No, that's right. We've got a lawless country. We've got a lawless country. The police, the police are not policing. We've got a government that is, just too far up their own backsides that they cannot see what they are doing wrong. And I just think that we need to go back to the start. We need to go back, to basics. If people have to dig in their pockets to pay more taxes, to put more police out onto the streets, to make it safe for people, then that's what we have to do.
That's what the rich should be doing, yeah.
It's not even about that, because it's about the appropriating the spending by the country for what has been more than 2 decades. Meaning that, because if you think about it, person below me, I don't know your name, but if you think about it, every year you get a letter from the council tax saying, oh, your council tax is going up, but it also gives you the breakdown of what services are getting more funding and what are getting less. Every year, the police force funding goes down, every year the NHS funding goes down, every year the fire service goes down, and then what's the one that goes up? Oh, the councillors' wages. Mm-hmm. That's the single one that goes.
They carry on selling off council-owned property and then renting it.
Well, they're doing that as well. Well, they're trying to get rid of all council houses. Yeah, of course. But that's another issue. We have a substantial amount of derelict buildings, huge derelict buildings that the government own that just won't do anything with.
Well, Holloway Prison, the ladies' prison, is derelict now. On Holloway Road, that's derelict. That could hold.
Completely digressed from the topic. We've completely digressed from the topic. The topic at hand is a man has been charged with murder of a Saudi student who was unalived in Cambridge, right? This young man had to lose his life because of it could be multiple reasons. Multiple reasons. Thank you, Alicia, for joining. Multiple reasons. But what we're not doing is we're not giving the person any sort of respect by talking about the family. He's the victim at the end of the day. We're all sitting here trying to, and including myself, and I was speculating at first that I personally think, again, that this is an Islamophobic and partially racist attack. Right?
Yeah, I believe it could be. I believe it
should never happen on UK soil. This should never happen on UK soil. No one should be being unalived by the religion or their race.
Or skin, yeah, absolutely not. And even if you wanted to take those two things away, it's obviously something that's come from hate of some form, right? Because this is unfortunate, the state that the country has got to. Everyone just hates.
Exactly. Just to get everybody to support the platform, please follow the account and send in the heart news. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you all for listening in and joining in. Who's this guy that's at the top? That's got McDonald's Wi-Fi.
It'd be interesting to know if there's anybody in the panel or, you know, in the chat at all, if they do live within the Cambridge area. We're not going to find out any details from this, not until, the actual trial in February. But if they're going to do the plea hearing, they've got to also enter into what he's done and why he's done it, before he pleads. So if anyone can get there...
What I found really disturbing is that other twat that came up, right? The first twat that came up, right? And he said, hold on a second, you guys are all invading the country, and why do you think this is happening to you guys? You know what I mean? You guys
this man, to go to Cambridge University... has probably paid out thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds to go to Cambridge University for one term. Probably costs in comparison from £15,000 to £20,000 a term. 15,000 to £20,000 a term up. So, and then you've got student halls and digs and stuff like that, that they've got to pay for. They've got to pay for their visa. They've got to pay for their stay. All this comes into account. So, and, obviously he's not one of these that come over on a student visa and just disappear, which we know that there are many that do. He is one, he is a legal one that has come here legally to study, to do the right thing, to, start his life over. And it's been ended tragically out of, it could be racist, we don't know, not yet. But, if it is, then I condemn it. And, they should go to prison for a full life sentence.
But do you see now the plight of the Muslims of the UK now? Do you see the plight?
I do.
See why we're always talking about Islamophobia? Do you see why we're talking about Islamophobia? Because stuff like this is happening constantly. People are going to fear. Why do you want people to live in fear? Why are you trying to openly create a division, a divide? Why is it?
I feel like in this case it's actually the other way around. It's not actually a lot of the time racially motivated attacks onto people of minority groups, but the other way around. I'm looking at it now. I know that we're talking about being Muslim specifically, but just here in regards to, so I'm broadening it because there isn't any specific rates in regards to religion, unfortunately, but the per capita, which means obviously based on the size of your population, it would be a black person is more likely to commit a unalive, because it says here 39.8 of those per million, whereas in white would be 8.5 per million in 2025 United Kingdom. That's a fact for you. You want the facts?
Hold on. You know what, bro? So listen, man, the thing is, right? What your statistics you're looking at? Okay, the crime stats, right? And then of course you need to look at the reasons why certain communities are doing certain actions, etc. but they're not targeting, they're not going, for example, a Muslim gang is not going after people because there's certain color or religion or race, right? A Muslim gang, in the mosques, 1 second, mate, in the mosques or between the Muslim people, we don't go, you know, white people.
What about the diddler gangs?
Hold on, mate, 1 second, man. Black people are like this, or we need to be violent towards them. No, man, an innocent person, we're not supposed to like harm, touch, whatever. It's different if someone comes to try and rob your house or attack you or something, right? You know, we don't spread that kind of stuff. We don't really do that kind of stuff.
Actually, I disagree, mate. Again, the diddler gangs are specifically targeting young white girls.
What do you want?
That is something that has been being investigated now because it's mad.
Hold on, mate. Listen, you're jumping from one area to another, man.
So you're saying that you're saying Muslims won't go out to target people, but
I don't really like. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna drop just 2 minutes, please. Right. I don't like playing this race thing, right, or whatever. But look, I'm gonna be blunt with you. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna be blunt with you, right. So the things that you're talking about, yeah, we condemn it, man. They're scumbags. You know, to us guys, right. Anyone who touches a woman, a child, or even another man, or whatever, because it happens there. 8 boys a day under the age of 16 get raped, right? 38, 40 girls under the age of 16 get raped. 200 women a day get raped in the UK, right? So to me, anyone who does that should be unalive. You shouldn't let them out, right? So we're not condoning anything that those guys are doing. So what we're saying is, yeah, whatever they're doing is wrong, right? And that shouldn't be done. But look, mate, 87% of people that are committing that crime, mate, it was 85%, then it went up to 87%. So you guys have gone up by 2%, man. So you're doing well, mate. You know what I mean? You've basically won the competition, right? So if there was like an Olympics of SA, I mean, you guys are on 87%. That's nearly 100%, right? And one last thing I will say to you. One last thing I'll say, and I'm going to drop, bro. So, you know, one last thing I'll say is, in 2024, the SA cases for foreigners that got convicted, right, was Indians were at the top. 38, there was 38 cases of Indians that did SA, right? I'm just talking about foreigners, right? Then there was Romanian and Polish, I think, at like 27. Then there was like Pakistani foreigners, right, about 20, and then I think Afghani at 19. So again, you know, but no one's going to talk about the Indian lot, right? I bet you're never going to say, you know what, why is Rishi allowed so many of them in or anything like that, right? But, you know, if it's Muslim, then you guys will obviously find one way to do it or something. Bro, listen,
you know what it is, man?
Nice talking to everyone.
Just before you drop, hold on, David, just before you drop, real quick. Moody's probably sick of hearing me saying this the amount of time this topic comes up, yeah? But as someone who's a survivor of that exact thing myself, right, my 2 sisters as well, my mum as well, all different people, yeah? It is a male issue. It is not a specific race issue. Men have an issue with it for some reason, yeah? But guess what? Not a single one of those 4 people that I just said about spent a second in prison because the country does not care about child abuse. Now, let's just move it back to the topic of the poor young man that unfortunately lost his life. Thank you, David, for staying.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Truth, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think it's horrible, some of the cases I've been reading over the last, I'd say, probably 2 weeks. There's this case, there's another 4 lads within, I think, a 3 or 4 day period within Dublin. That was horrible as well. I'm just going to mention it because many people don't know. I've actually seen an English lady, big respect to her, was talking about, she was crying her eyes out literally on live because of it, because of what they did to this innocent man. They accused him of being on a park and looking at kids and stuff. He didn't do anything wrong. He was a completely innocent man. He did nothing wrong. And these lads, about 10 of them, got together. They poked him in his face with certain sharp objects multiple times, stripped him down, beat him to a pulp, tied him to a lamppost, absolutely obliterated him, and then threw him away like worse than what you treat an animal. You wouldn't even treat a dog like that, I'm being honest with you. On the street, and the man was begging for help in the street, covered in blood from head to toe. This is one of the most horrific cases I've seen happen. And this poor guy just came for a better life to a country that he thought was supposed to be one of the best countries in the world. And this is what he got. He lost his life. This shouldn't be happening. How can you claim to be the best culture, the best people, the best country in the world, and then treat people like this?
You're spoiling it.
You're spoiling it, and you're showing the world, no, we're not the best people. And you know the problem is with statistics. Again, I'm going to go back to that statistic because of specifically Ukiyo came out with these statistics. When you look on a national level, it's very easy to aim at a certain community of people. Like, for example, if I was to aim a certain statistic at East London and only aim that statistic at black people, it would show me that a certain crime would be high amongst black people. If I was to
aim statistics at people,
let me finish. No, let me finish. You can reply.
You're saying why statistics aren't relevant.
If I was again to aim a statistic at Asians and G-gangs, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I am Pakistani. I admit it does happen and it needs to be dealt with within our communities 100%. Within a specific area, which is generally Bradford and I think West Yorkshire, they were mentioning, whatever the inquiry mentioned, 3 areas. Yes, it needs to be dealt with. But on a national level, all of these crimes per capita, it is white British people who are the vast majority in these crimes. But when you read the statistics, it seems like they're not. Here's a statistic, for example, on a national level, 7% of black people commit knife crimes against one another. White people commit 15% of knife crimes against one another on a national level. Do you know what the difference is here? You don't, do you? Because you just chucked 7% out and 15%. 15% of 60 million white people, it means that per year, 9 million white British people commit a knife crime against each other. And you know when most of these cases happen? In domestic abuse cases where the woman is trying to defend herself against her partner, but you don't want to talk about that.
I wouldn't deny that. I wouldn't deny that.
One second. No, I'm not finished. When I finish,
okay,
you're talking. Honestly, I'll stay quiet. I will stay quiet.
Wait. I've kept you on here because we want to have a one-to-one conversation.
Yeah, I will stay quiet. I know Moody will do much.
I'm the only one who's able to hold a conversation.
But again, another statistics: 84% of Pakistani men commit type 1 grooming. Yes, I'm going to agree with that. 84% of the Pakistanis in these specific cases that were done, they commit type 1 grooming, where you groom someone in a place of weakness or a person who comes from a broken family or maybe you're in the system. Type 2 grooming is what they've never mentioned unless you hunt for it. Type 2 grooming is when you specifically aim to groom a child with sexual intent. This is 100% white men. 100%. Where is that statistic? And this statistic was done by CEOP, CEOP, the organization. Go and check that statistic. And the BBC reported it, and so did the Independent. And then they buried it so far in the ground because they wanted to push the agenda of Pakistani men and didn't want to talk about the 100% of white men who, with intent of sexualization of children under the age of 5, was 100% white. Where is that statistic?
I'm just having a look now. Yeah, I'm just going to answer verbally because I was about to type something. But no, I'm not laughing at what the fella's talking about there. I'm laughing at these knobheads in the chat trying to act funny because I've been on for a minute. At least I'm the one holding the conversation. I'm being fair with it. Anyway, so you're saying it's... What was the website I needed to look on? COP?
You can look on bbcnews.co.uk or the independent.co.uk, 2 papers that are UK papers, and the same statistic is the one that was done by CEOP that also said that 84% of Pakistani grooming gangs, or grooming gangs in general, type 1 are Pakistanis. It's the exact same statistic, but they missed out the second one. Many major news channels or organizations about type 2 grooming with the intent of grooming a child. And 100% of these cases were children under the age of
100%.
Yes, and it's 100% white men. I can give you the start now on my screen.
Yeah, can you give us a title with these stats? Because you're saying 100, not a
100%.
Not 2 seconds. Not a single POC in our whole country of 70 million out of the tens of millions of POCs. Not a single. Okay, please, we'd love to see the study.
I'll get it now.
Very unlikely.
1 second.
No, not a single POC, out of tens of millions of people committed that crime is very unlikely. I'm sorry.
Now, it's not disputed that white men will be at the top of 90% of all these studies. Why? Because it is a white country at the end of the day. Most years, I'm assuming, are in England, and that's why we're having this conversation.
No, I am from
But when we're talking per capita, that's the difference. It's about population head and percentage of those that would offend.
Right, okay. So a previous piece of research from 2019 found that 1,231 perpetrators of group gang-based child SA or SE, 42% were white, 14% were defined as Asian or Asian British, and 17% were black.
And this was 6 years ago when it was still being covered up?
Oh.
It is only this year that it's breaking the news.
This, by the way, was from the BBC.
The BBC is not very trusted either, if I'm honest.
The BBC, okay, Independent's that trusted as well.
The Independent, I'd probably say, is a little more trusted than the BBC.
You can't really read it there, but what I can see there is 75%. I can't see any 100%.
Give me one